The PowerColor Red Devil RX 470 is PowerColor's flagship 470 GPU, being just a step above the more referenced Red Dragon 470 that they provide. The Red Devil boasts a 5% overclock on the boost clock and roughly 6% on the memory clock to bring the total core up to 1270 MHz and the memory to 7 GHz on its 4 GB of 256-bit GDDR5 memory. The Red Devil also supports the RX 470 standard 32 compute units with 2048 stream processors on its 14nm GCN4 architecture with a 120-watt TDP. The I/O contains triple DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0B, and a single dual-link DVI-D. There's a single 8-pin PCIe power connector, 6+1 power phase design, and the GPU pulled a maximum of 137.4 watts, with the card usually averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of 115 watts during normal gaming sessions. The shroud covering the Red Devil is a tough black plastic affair with some red metal accents, with the entire shroud being incredibly firm. The only complaint I would espouse here is that the Red Devil logo, skillfully crafted into a Baphomet-esque shape, located on the side of the shroud, reads upside down when installed in a case, which seems like an odd design inclusion. The backplate continues on the devil theme with a pentagram and some other occult symbology. For cooling, there's a quadruple nickel-plated heat pipe solution, which is cooled by curiously shaped fan blades. PowerColor dubs this feature set as Double Blade 3, given that each fan blade appears to be two fan blades fused together. PowerColor claims that this type of fan blade design increases airflow and prevents dust from accumulating on the fans themselves. PowerColor has also included the common feature of the fans remaining off below a certain temperature threshold, providing near silent ambient GPU usage. As far as the effectiveness of the cooler on the Red Devil 470, the card reached a max temp of 70 degrees Celsius and a max fan speed of 56% during all of my benchmarking and stress testing of the GPU. Checking out the performance of the Red Devil RX 470, it shows up to be a perfect card for 1080p gaming with a roughly 60 FPS average in most games at their highest detail settings, excluding the few demanding titles such as Ashes of the Singularity, Metro Last Light, Deus Ex, and Witcher 3. Even at 1440p, the card pulls out some very respectable FPS numbers, being over 30 FPS in many instances at those same detail settings. Heading up to 4K is likely unrealistic with this RX 470, given its limiting 4GB of VRAM, but is achievable if you compromise on your details quite a bit. Pricing on this card is a bit hit or miss depending on where you're located. Coming in at $200 US, it's $60 less than its big brother, the Red Devil 480, but it's only $20 less than the cheapest 480 I can find on Newegg, making it a strange value proposition. It's likely better to save up the $20 and head on up to an RX 480 to get the better performance, unless of course you want to stay in the PowerColor family. Here in South Africa, the pricing is a bit more sensible, with the card coming in at roughly 1,300 Rand less than the cheapest 480, and being dead even with the GTX 1060 3GB, which, if you want to see a comparison of those two cards, check out that video right there. So, depending on your region, check the pricing on this card to make sure you can't just bump up to a 480 for only a bit more. In regions such as South Africa, the RX 470 comes out to be the best value, high detail 1080p gaming card you can get. The PowerColor Red Devil RX 470 provides a lot to like. The out-of-the-box overclock is about as good as you can find on the market right now, with most other AIB partner cards coming in 10 to 30 MHz lower. The cooling performance of the Red Devil is certainly respectable and silent when you need it to be. It offers some key distinct advantages over the similarly priced GTX 1060 3GB card, such as the extra gigabyte of VRAM, better DX12 and Vulkan performance, and the ability to go multi-GPU with Crossfire if you want to down the line. It's a fantastic 1080p gaming card, but can be overshadowed by some well-priced RX 480s, depending on the pricing in your region. If you're in the US, I'd unfortunately have to say skip the RX 470, save up some cash, and buy a cheap RX 480. Here in South Africa, on the other hand, if you're gaming at 1080p, the RX 470 is a clear choice if you're rocking a 1920 by 1080 monitor. And with that conclusion, I'd like to thank Wootware for sending the PowerColor Red Devil RX 470 over for review. If you're in South Africa, Wootware should be your go-to store for all of your computer needs. Not only are they the only place you can get this fantastically priced PowerColor 470, but they also have a wide variety on other well-priced components. And with their fantastic customer service, Wootware is an obvious choice for whatever your rig needs next. So if you're in South Africa, head on over to wootware.co.za to woot up your life. The link is in the video description. And that wraps it up for this review on the PowerColor Red Devil RX 470. Like this video if you found it helpful at all. Dislike it if you disagree with me or my conclusions. I'm also keen to hear your thoughts on the RX 470 down in the comments. You can subscribe to stay up to date on all of my tech related content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.